Hi, this week I'm going to teach you how I used to use no-hit fees in my private investigation business. I'm going to use a real-world example of doing a faux license plate trace and walk you through this. And this is just one of the many ways you can kind of do like a fake license plate trace. And let me explain a little bit. Hi, I'm Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. There are a ton of public records where license plate information is in the record. And if you know how to use those public records, you can do what I call a faux license plate trace. So a client comes to you, maybe you don't have access to the restricted databases that the private investigators do, or maybe you're a PI, but you don't have the permissible purpose to run a license plate. When that's the case, I suggest dig into public records. Of course, I have the public records mini course. And when you learn what public records have license plates, this is what you can do. A client will call you, say, hey, can you trace a license plate for me? I used to always say yes, tell me about it. And if they had a good, legitimate reason, if they were not a harmful person, all of those elements, legal and ethical, in play, then but I wasn't able to use a permissible purpose. What I would do is a faux license place trait trace. So what I would tell them is I would quote them a price to trace the license plate. And depending on where you are, the market will hold different levels, $75, $125. These are not unreasonable, regular type prices to trace a license plate. So I would say something like, it's $125 to trace the plate. There is a $35 no-hit fee if I come up blank. This helps compensate me for my time, money, energy, fees, and that type of thing. Most people will agree to this if they have the money. So then what I would do is I would scour through public records to see if I could discover almost a backdoor way. And for example, if you go over to ShadowAnyone.com, I have a blog post it's titled something like how to trace license plates using parking violations. ShadowAnyone.com, keyword searchable. So plug in parking violations and this blog post will come up for you. And basically what I do is I go to the parking violations website, I type in the license plate number and see if anything comes up. It's a pretty slim chance, but you combine it with all the other public records methods you have for searching license plates, and you'd be surprised how often you're able to come up with a license plate information. And so that blog post covers it more and in detail. But the no-hit fee would be something that, honestly, now here's the trick from a business perspective, I would essentially always waive. I don't ever remember charging someone, genuinely charging them a no-hit fee. There's two reasons. One, it really cost me essentially nothing to try a few of these different public records methods to get that license plate information. I'm not really out anything, not even a lot of time. I'm just not going to charge a client for that. I'll say, hey, I came up blank on that. I couldn't get the information for you, but I'm going to waive the no-hit fee. And then the relationship ends good. And if they need an investigator in the future, they're definitely going to come back to me. On my repeat clients, and this is huge, law firms and that, whatever you're charging a no-hit fee for, and there's a lot of legitimate good reasons, process serving comes to mind, but there are skip traces and all sorts of things. I would always waive the no-hit fee because I'm not interested in even a $125, $250 no-hit fee on larger cases. I would rather keep the relationship with that reoccurring profitable client open and healthy. So I always put it on the invoice. I one line it, strike through it, and they can see when they pay their monthly invoice of all their other things that they did not have to pay the no-hit fee. That's how I did it. That's kind of how I recommend, and at least consider doing it that way. It's good for business. It keeps the looky-loos away, and you won't have a lot of when you come to a client with something you weren't able to find out for them, they'll still be happy that they didn't have to pay anything at all. If you got any suggestions, thoughts, experience with this, please feel free to share them. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.